We find that sharing a cup of coffee with someone is a great way to get to know them.
We took a tram up to Lyon to do just that with our good friend Daniel. He's a student of history and a coffee geek and has been my colleague for 3 years.
If you want to get to know more people with us, subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified when we upload new videos.
Follow us on Instagram at RightTBean.
Today we are brewing Key from Kenya.
Key.
It's from the Kirinyaga region of Kenya, by the foot of Mount Kenya. You're a coffee person, Daniel.
I am a coffee person. I guess I am.
How did you get into coffee?
How did I get into coffee? Good question. When I was young, when I was young, back in the day.
What are you now,
No.
28?
Wow, thank you. No, I'm 23, actually.
I
I'm just a
feel
kid.
even older.
But I am also a student of history, so that does age me quicker. I got into coffee when I was 15 at this shop back home called Tørste Søstre, Thirsty Sisters, which I know sounds quite suggestive. So I got a part-time job there, and it kind of just kept snowballing on until my last residency, which was, of course, with you at Jacobsen og Svart, doing coffee events, courses, some roasting.
What made you start studying history?
Yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I took a half year and I backpacked around South America and became so cultured. But it was a great experience, and I think what I learned most on that trip was that I really like history, because you're on your own. You don't have anything you have to do, so you kind of just end up doing whatever feels good, whatever you want to do that day. And I more and more wanted to kind of do things that had to do with history. Go to sites, read books.
Have you seen any trends that you can trace through history?
I guess you're thinking of things that repeat themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not a subscriber to the thought that history repeats itself, but I do think it rhymes. Because you'll never have the same events or same things kind of happen after one another, like identical. Things will always be different, and it will always be more complicated than it is. But it will sometimes rhyme in that similar events can play out with time frame between them. Because we kind of forget about things. I think vaccines and measles outbreaks are a great kind of example of that nowadays.
Yeah.
Where it's been so long since you saw the devastating consequences of these diseases that you weigh the threat, the non-existent threat of autism higher than this extremely deadly disease.
Yeah. How old were you when you traveled through South America alone?
I had just turned 19. My grandparents on my mother's side, they met in Bolivia, which is kind of odd. Yeah, in Cochabamba, a Jewish refugee and an ex-English fighter pilot. My grandmother wrote a book about it, and she talks a little bit about their time there, and there's a bunch of photos and stuff. So I was kind of like, I think that's where I got my first kind of impulse that this is a place I really want to go. How's that coffee doing? Oh, beautiful. So I have a big faith in positive nihilism. So you have the nihilism, was the recognition that nothing is, And once you do that, you start zooming out and zooming out. We've all had it there, and it gets so big, and everything's just so pointless, and what's the meaning of it all? And that can be very scary.
Okay.
And it's not very good for our brains. It isn't. Well, that's where the positive comes in, because if there's no meaning behind anything, well, then you can just, do what's good. Live a fulfilling life by your own definition, because you're not supposed to do anything.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to die.
What's one thing that you're proud of that you've accomplished in life?
In some extent, when I did go traveling in South America at the age of 19, I was not ready for it. I wasn't mature enough at all. But when you are on your own, you kind of just have to deal with it. And I'm very happy that I had that experience and that I dealt with it as well as I did before I moved out on my own.
You wrote your bachelor thesis about coffee in Trondheim.
Yes, I wrote my bachelor thesis about the import of coffee to Trondheim between 1814 to 1835. it was very, very frequently smuggled in. I was going to say it was the most smuggled thing, but it probably wasn't. But it's up there. It was smuggled so much.
Coffee was illegal?
No, coffee was legal. It was seen as immoral by the church for quite a while, because here comes this foreign exotic drink and it's going to ruin our pure Norwegian culture. So the church didn't have a really good relationship to coffee and consumption. But after 1814, Norway became independent, sort of. After that, we decided to have like a huge party, so we radically scaled back the limitations on how much alcohol you could produce at home, which led to about like 30 years of just binging. There was so much alcoholism in Norwegian society that the church kind of shifted their tone a bit, because they kind of saw, oh, so this is what happens when people are drunk the whole time on good Norwegian liquor. Maybe coffee isn't that bad, you know? Maybe a stimulant is better than a depressant. So then they start with the church coffee and all that stuff. Fun fact, do you know why we serve coffee with saucers underneath them?
No.
No, you don't? I hope this is true, but it wasn't uncommon to take out the cup and pour some of the coffee out on the saucer and drink it from there, because it cooled down quicker.
Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel.
No, thank
It
you
was,
guys.
it was really nice.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
Don't step on the fire. You absolute.
My man.
Thanks.
What?
Here's your new coffee friends.
New coffee friends.
Very.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.